Our goal is to be in person, in mass, and bring through literally floods of energy, flooding the earth with energies that will facilitate rapid change for Gaia. We're getting there. We are. This is part of it. Can you see it? Can you see us gathered in stadiums? Welcome to Activations with JJ. In today's episode, we'll be exploring the themes of the Blue Avian beings, stronger Pleiadian energies, and more about the inner earth. I'm excited to jump into all of these topics with you today, so let's get going. Hello, beautiful souls. Thank you once again for joining me for this Ascension message episode. It's been a bit since I've actually had one, and I just keep thinking that it's all about timing, and there's some interesting energies coming through. I've been absorbing a lot lately as far as information to be able to relay to you, and I have like this list of notes next to my computer whenever I'm doing sessions and courses and thinking, ooh, I need to talk about that on my podcast. And so I am here now to just share a few themes. In fact, in the introduction, I touched on a couple, but I was like, well, there's a few more than that. And I'm just really excited to connect with you again. It has been an incredible month. I think coming out of the eclipse, now that we're in May, and it is crazy that we're at this point in May. I mean, this month has also flown by. We're also to almost the midpoint of the year. It's just incredible. One of the highlights that's come through over the last couple of months is something I touched on in my last Ascension message, which was an interview at sort of a more of a co-channeling experience with my friend Queenie. We will be co-hosting the Gateway to Inner Earth Mount Shasta conference. And what happened was we did the podcast episode. We had over 200 people sign up for our it was actually an orientation call to calibrate for the conference and to all the energies of the inner earth, both for people who are planning on attending in physical and those who would like to attend in spirit and energetically, anybody who is interested in inner earth. And what has come through in those last few weeks has been so powerful, and we're just feeling how significant this conference is going to be. We filled all of our VIP excursion tickets. We had to add 20 more spots. So if you would like to join us in Mount Shasta during the Lionsgate portal, you can check out the link below. But in addition to that, we have a free portal full of resources for anyone who's interested in inner earth, anyone who's interested in Telos and the Agarthians and the dragons of the inner earth, anything and everything that you could think of that would be connected to that. If you click on that link below, it's again a free portal. You will be able to do a couple of things. One, you'll have playbacks to all of our calibration calls. We had our first one in May. We're doing another one in June and another one in July. You can sign up for those free through that portal. There's a link there. We also have several resources in there for you. I pulled 7 or 8 playbacks from my last couple of years of gatherings when I used to do the Soul Family gatherings, and every single one of them is connected to Inner Earth. I really put those out there so that we can start putting the dots together, because sometimes I think Spirit's like, oh, we give you Easter eggs all throughout the last, couple years of all of these gatherings that you did to prime you for this moment. So it's pretty incredible. Many of you know that what I did in the last, basically I started my gatherings in 2021, and those I did monthly. I did many different themes. I did Arcturian, Pleiadian, Galactic Federation, Galactic Family, Fairies and Dragons. I did Avalon gatherings. I did Atlantean gatherings, Lemurian gatherings. And I think it was like all practice for what I'm doing now and helping me to calibrate. But I now have my Starseed Gridwork community, which is also going to be going through some changes. My Starseed Gridwork community is what you could consider to be a membership. So some of you might go, well, where are all your gatherings, JJ? Like, why don't you do gatherings anymore? I do gatherings. They are in the Starseed Gridwork community. If you join the Starseed Gridwork community, you get access to 3 gatherings. One is my live monthly energy update. So one's coming up soon. And then 2 planetary gridwork gatherings where we have themes. We actually divide up into smaller groups and we literally do gridwork as this collective. And it's a really beautiful way to develop your skills. If you're new to gridwork, that's totally fine. You are welcome. Honestly, most people are. Most people in the community are not experts. They're there to learn. I also have an incredible team of more experienced people. And what we have done is we have dove into the topics of planetary gridwork through a couple of courses that I recently offered. One of them was our Nexus Part 1. This is our gridwork training course, and we have Nexus Part 2 coming out in June. I just made the Nexus Part 1 available to my Starseed Gridwork community on demand, so anyone can take it. If you heard me talk about it before, then you can take it now if you missed out the first time. That is a prerequisite for Nexus Part 2. In Nexus Part 2, do you know what we're going to talk about? Something that's been coming through a lot. Timekeepers and crystal keepers. So if you're a timekeeper and a crystal keeper, or a crystal keeper, they're very related. They're very, very related. Then jump into that Nexus Part 2. It is absolutely going to be incredible. I have 2 sort of co-channelers with me, Audrey and Alex. They will be helping to facilitate what comes through, what information we bring through. It's a collective effort. Everybody there is co-creating and channeling in their own way. Because what I've been told from my guides is we're at the very grassroots level here, creating information for planetary grid workers. I know there are a lot of what I call lone wolves out there doing planetary grid work. If this is you, we need you and your expertise in the Starseed Gridwork community. What will happen when we combine our efforts is exponentially more powerful than what we can do on our own. I have lots of ideas, cooking up lots of ideas right now, percolating in my field with regards to how to help you coordinate. I even have this club that I want to launch in the next few months. It's basically a global grid workers club for people who are kind of maybe you're working remotely and you're traveling all around the world. I know there are lots of you out there who have manifested that for yourselves, and you want to do like meetups with other people who do grid work. And maybe you can coordinate days and times and combine your efforts to do the grid work in various places on the planet. We need that. This is what we're beginning to do. This is also happening in the Starseed Gridwork community, where we're going to start actually bringing through assignments, you could say, and people will grab those tasks and say, oh, okay, yeah, I want to do this, or I'm going to do this assignment. So I'm really excited about what's going on in the community. All of that is connected to the themes for today. Many of you remember that a few months ago, it was actually only a month ago, not even a month ago. It feels like a few months ago. I traveled to the East Coast. I was in Connecticut and Manhattan, and it just so happens that the theme for 2 of those gatherings was Pleiadians. And during one of those gatherings, the one I did in Manhattan, the Pleiadians came through, and we actually assisted them in downloading the Pleiadian Akashic records. So it's not fully downloaded. We anchored part of it into Gaia, and it's being downloaded right now. I'm actually returning to Manhattan for the 7/7 portal. I will be doing another event and some grid work in New York City as well as Connecticut in that time frame. So if you are on the East Coast and you missed me, I would love for you to be there. I'm really feeling drawn to potentially do some grid work in Central Park, which I've never done before with a group. So if you are on board with that, keep your ears and eyes out for information. If you're not already subscribed to my email list, make sure you do that too, because that's a really great way to stay connected with what's going on in my world. But this Pleiadian energy has been coming through. And in addition to that, right now, I am actually taking the journey of multidimensional soul integration. I am guiding people through, both people who are receiving multidimensional soul integration and those who are becoming trained to be practitioners. So I do have a certification program that I do 2 times a year to become a certified MSI practitioner. Soul integration, you've heard me talk about it, is literally the modality of the new earth. It is the modality of the new earth. It is the fastest way, I want to say that one of the fastest ways to accelerate your ascension journey. And interestingly enough, I've been doing a lot of Akashic Records readings because I opened those up for the months of May and June. And what's been coming through predominantly, and this is why I do sometimes these one-on-ones and these opportunities, because sometimes I wonder, I'm like, I've got a lot on my plate and I still feel drawn to do one-on-ones. I know a lot of people in my shoes will sort of more limit their one-on-ones, but I just keep feeling like I need to lean into them. I am really receiving data when I do these. And let me tell you one thing that's been coming in. The Blue Avians, and then just blue beings in general that I believe are a lot of Pleiadian energy. They've been coming through as soul aspects to integrate. They've been coming through as guides. So many people in my Akashic Records, I did a new format this time where I actually have people go through this guided meditation before they do the session. And in that guided meditation, and it's like a pre-recorded guided meditation, they are calling in different guides for themselves and different symbols for themselves to help sort of empower them through the process of the Akashic Record reading. And so what happened is I kept having people over and over again saying, I saw a blue being. I felt like it was a blue bird-like being. You know, it was either blue or blue bird-like being. And I go, okay, there's something going on right now. I have other friends who keep posting about the Blue Avians. So there's absolutely across the board something coming through. It is a massive influx of Blue Avian and Blue Ray. And many of you know I had the Pleiadians bringing through the periwinkle ray not long ago as well. So all these shades of blue are coming through. And I just feel like there's a big significance to that. If you are listening to this on YouTube, would you drop in the comments and share with the rest of the people viewing this video what you think those blue beings or the Blue Avians are here to do? Because I think it would be interesting to combine our collective intuition and our collective channeling abilities. There's another thing too, the Galactic children. I was reading Barbara Marciniak's Family of Light, and there's a part in that book where she talks about the Galactic children coming, and that when they're born, they'll be smaller than a regular child, a regular baby, and that they'll have a slight blue tint to their skin. So that's a little validation right there. I was actually very surprised to see that. And there is a condition, I was just thinking, there is a condition that causes the skin to be, I think the lips and the fingertips to be blue. I was thinking of that. I was like, how would they be blue? Like, what in the world? They are somewhat hybrid children that are coming through. The Galactic children, again, has been a huge theme for the last little while. They've been coming through in so many ways, through so many channelers. They came through in my trips to the UK. They came through in my gatherings. They've been coming through in sessions, in so many meetings. I can't even say which ones now because they all blur together. But I want to take a moment and just tune in and sort of weave together this information and help us better understand some of this, because I'm sensing that it has to do with this Pleiadian Akash that we are anchoring in. And this Pleiadian, almost this Pleiadian grid, but I'm hearing it's an old but new grid and an old but new field of consciousness that is calibrating Gaia. And it is a temporary field that is like a blanket of energy being placed over Gaia right now. I've had in certain sessions come through a technology. I guess I don't know if technology is the right word, but it's the best one I have. It's like a calibration blanket. And really, it is a field, honestly. And it's placed on people's individual bodies. But this calibration blanket is there temporarily. Sometimes it is released after the calibration is done. Sometimes it dissolves. Like, you know, those dissolving stitches they have? Sometimes the calibration blanket just dissolves when it's done doing its job. So this field I feel coming down and anchoring into Gaia is kind of contributing to her ascension process in a really interesting way. And I think it will either dissolve or it will be released when it's needed. Now, here's why that's significant. I also received information that this is not the only galactic field of consciousness that's going to be downloaded temporarily or permanently. I'm not sure for each one, but onto Gaia. There are other galactic blankets of energy that are being called in, not only to outer Earth, but what I received was information around the fact that the inner Earth needs also ascension tools. And some of us who are way showers on the outer Earth can connect with the way showers of the inner Earth and help them access these tools. And also, a lot of us are working on opening portals and stargates and reactivating them. You guys have been hearing me talk about that for like at least a year, because there was a ton going on last year at solstice. I opened a stargate over Glastonbury Tor. We reactivated this Andromedan stargate over Glastonbury Tor. We also did things in Avebury too. And then we closed it. I closed it in October. I was guided to go to Glastonbury in October. That was the most random trip that I was not planning on going on. This happens to me all the time. And we closed. We closed it basically. When we returned this May, just a couple weeks ago, we reactivated it again. So there's work going on with stargates on the outer Earth and in like the skies and in the waters. There's also stargates that need to be opened and reactivated in the inner Earth. It's exactly what my guide said. These are the things we talk about in the Starseed Gridwork community. These are the topics that come forward. So I'm really excited to see, as I do my planetary gridwork gatherings, what comes through. Now, if you are curious about the community, maybe you're not sure, like, I don't know if this is for me. Listen, you can join for a month and then you can, just be done. There's no like commitment for how long you're part of it. You can jump in and see if it's a frequency you like and it resonates with you, and just try it out. But I would love to have you join us. My goal is to reach 200 members by the time we get to the end of the year, because as we build our numbers energetically and, in person, we are absolutely being able to access different frequencies. Our capacity grows because we're combining what we can do. And so I would really love for you to step in, see if it's something that would align with you and your ascension journey right now. Okay. Speaking of gathering, I gotta share some things with you. Okay, so a few little things. One, in-person stuff that's going on. I'll be in Connecticut and New York and potentially Washington, D.C. doing grid work at the 7-7 portal, around the 7-7 portal. If you are in any of those areas, like I said, make sure you're part of my email list, okay? In addition to that, we have our Mount Shasta retreat. Well, it's a conference. I keep saying retreat. It is not a retreat. It is a full-blown conference. We have several members of the Star Mothers Worldwide Global Council coming from overseas to bring their channeling gifts and their messages to this incredible container of starseeds gathering on this powerful mountain to do. There's definitely grid work going on. By all means, we are doing all kinds of grid work. Now that is in August, right, 2024. It just so happens that I have now planned to be in Hawaii the last weekend in September. It's kind of like, I think, the last weekend of September, first weekend of October, but depending on the dates there. So also really excited to gather with those of you who are in Hawaii. The next weekend after that, I'll hop over to Australia. We'll be at Byron Bay. We have essentially a 3-day event going on. We have a 2-day all-day retreat. And then we're adding a cosmic channeling and light language workshop conference basically on the last day. This is the first weekend of October that this will be going on. It'll be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll be visiting the Crystal Castle, which is going to be so incredible. We'll be doing Gridwork. So I would love to have you join us there. There's a wait list. You can click on the link below for that. There's a bonus now because there's like spirits like, here, why don't you do this? Here, why don't you do that? I am going to be doing another event in New Zealand. So if you are interested in joining me in New Zealand, whether you want to travel there, because wow, that would be fun. We'll do Gridwork. I'll be doing a workshop there. Check out the link below to get on the wait list for New Zealand. I feel like some of you will actually travel there from overseas because some of you are feeling called to do Gridwork in New Zealand, aren't you? Aren't you? If you are, I have another little sort of more private event going on. And I'm like, I'm going to have you fill out that wait list to see what kind of grid worker you are, because I'm looking for certain kinds of skill sets. I'm looking for what I'm putting together is like these special teams. It's what it feels like. And so I'll kind of have like a little survey. If you do grid work and you want to do grid work with me, and that's what we're doing. And I'm just kind of laying out for you the rest of the year. After that, I will be in Florida for a retreat with my incredible friend Christy and Allison. And then I'm doing a very, very small, intimate Atlantean retreat. We'll be going to Bimini. And that's also happening in November. So much going on. I think it's important for me to share those with you so you can see kind of the hot spots for me personally. Maybe there's grid work coming up for you in different areas of the world, and you feel drawn to do that at the same time. It's all coordinated, and that's why we have the Starseed Gridwork community. Now, I want to finish off with a little tiny message about Inner Earth and about what's going on there. I'm excited this week. I will be uploading it's like a podcast, but it's really a light language transmission, okay, to my YouTube channel only. So if you listen to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you're missing all of my light language activations because those are only on YouTube. So make sure you follow me on YouTube. And I just crossed the 30,000 subscriber mark. So thank you so much. If you are a subscriber, I am so appreciative of that. This is free content that I am putting out into the world for you because of my love for this work and for this beautiful ascension path and everything that we're doing to co-create here for Gaia. And it just shows how much this resonates with people. If you're not a subscriber, please feel free to just click that little button right now and subscribe to the channel. It's always fun to see those numbers grow because it's a great indicator of where the collective is at, honestly, where their mind is at, where their frequency is at. As we see spiritual accounts of grid workers grow, not just mine, but other grid workers in the world, we see an interest in that. I see more and more shows coming out on Gaia even. If you're not already, subscribed to Gaia TV and Gaia Network, it's a great, I feel like it's beginning to be a way shower. It's a way shower platform. Let me put it that way. So I love that. But this light language transmission I have coming out is a Dragons of Inner Earth transmission. And it's really, really powerful because in that transmission, I don't actually speak English. I thought I would share with you before you listen to it and you can kind of prep for it. I feel like they are laying out and describing for you the realms of the inner earth. And I feel like some of you, when you listen to it, will actually draw like a map is what's coming in, because when I was channeling it, I could see people drawing, and they were getting downloads. So I want you to play with that idea, not only for this light language transmission, for any of mine. What if you got out a piece of paper and you started downloading codes yourself? And then when you do, please feel free to share them on your Instagram and tag me, because I will reshare those. It would be so amazing to see. There are so many code keepers who are being activated right now and coming into their roles as code keepers. That's something we talk about in the Nexus course. What is a code keeper? How do you do that role? What is that supporting here? How do we combine our efforts as code keepers? So we're in such an amazing time, my friends. I just really appreciate you showing up here on the podcast. I know I have a lot of people who come into my one-on-ones and they're like, I've been following you for 3 years and I've never commented on anything, but I really like your podcast. And it's so funny to see, them coming out of the woodwork. And if you want to come out of the woodwork and just say hi in a comment section of the YouTube video, thank you. If you want to come out of the woodwork and co-create with me, I would love to, whether in person or virtually. It's time we are really gathering, aren't we? We are gathering, and it is safe to gather. Just take a deep breath. I want you to feel all of the beautiful souls who are listening with you. I almost feel like we're in a room together. It's a giant room, but we're in a room together. And I want you to just feel into the heart space of this amazing community. I want you to feel the safety of this space and calibrate to future co-creation. Our goal is to be in person, in mass, and bring through literally floods of energy, flooding the earth with energies that will facilitate rapid change for Gaia. We're getting there. We are. This is part of it. Can you see it? Can you see us gathered in stadiums? Stadiums, my friends. Can you see us there? Can you see us opening portals with our voices and flooding the earth with these incredible high frequency energies? And it doesn't have to be in a dramatic way. It can be gentle, like a sprinkling of rain. All of you know this is part of your soul purpose, don't you? You can feel that contract you have. And it's time to start gathering. So however you gather, whether you gather with me and the groups that I do, whether you gather with other mentors, other light workers that you follow, I just want to encourage you to do so. It is safe. It is absolutely safe. All right, my friends, take a nice deep breath. Yarakiniai so o kunshiaraka. Yasina shotokoya. Yarakna aisi. Orok osundirak iniaya. Jotirak nai siatarakia. Yotirak nai shoroktorakia. And so it is. Beautiful friends, I just want to remind you that I'm sending you so much love. And I am you and you are me. And we are we. Until next time.